morning, everyone. I am your host today. I am Teacher Ivy, and together with me is Teacher Warren. So welcome back to the Language Lab. Today, we were skipping the commercial breaks and the segments to do a deep dive rumination on most of the misunderstood relationship in education, the imbricative nature of egotism and behaviorism. So again, I'm here with Teacher Warren. I want to start with the word imbrication. So it implies that these two theories aren't just neighbors. They are actually woven in the same fabric.
It's definitely $10, Teacher Ivy. But in our context, it's the only way to describe the reality of the classroom. Historically, we were taught that it was a war. You had B.F. Skinner in his 1957 book, Verbally Behavior, arguing that children are essentially blank slates.
The Fabiola Rasa.
Yeah, you still remember
that.
Who learned through stimulus response and reinforcement. It's a copycat theory of language. But then, Noam Chomsky in 1959 came along. They basically said, wait a minute. If we only learn what you hear, how do children say things they've never heard before? He proposed the language acquisition plan, a biological law.
And that's usually where the textbook stops. Nature versus nurture. But if we look at our students, we see that it's never just one or the other. It's a handshake. It looks like a classic example. We have the example, the good or good phenomenon. How do you pronounce that? I'm sure you heard about this, Teacher Warren.
Yes, Teacher Ivy, I heard that words. I see it's very single day, and that is the perfect moment of embarkation. When child says when, at the age of 3, then they are being a behaviorist that day, and they are mimicking their parents. But when they regress to say go ahead at the age of 4, they are actually being an elitist. They discovered the ED rule and the internal universal grammar.
Agree. The rules of grammar.
Yeah, and they are testing it out. They aren't imitating anymore. They are creating. And this is the key to get back to the correct form. When you need the behaviorist environment again. They need us to recast the sentence, to model the correct or irregular form, and to provide the social reinforcement. You see, the internal egotism, it provides the logic, but the environment, behaviorism, provides the data to refine that logic. Teacher Ivy.
Agree. It's like a sculpture. Egotism is the raw marble and the basic idea of a human shape. But the behaviorism is the chisel that actually defines the features. This really brings us to, remember Jerome Bruner?
Yes, Teacher Ivy.
Yes.
I remember
Jerome
that,
Bruner, 1983, and his idea about the
lash.
L-A-S-S.
Lash, yeah, exactly. That lash is the language acquisition support system. Bronner saw the lad, the internal device, and said, that's great, but it's useless without a support system. That's where we come in as teachers. We provide the mothers, the scaffolding, and the interactive games. Just like the game Simon Says, when I say, Simon Says, stand up, and the student quickly stand up and without saying nothing.
I think also about Levigotsky here too.
Oh.
So in thought and language, he argues that language is a social tool before it's an eternal one. We use the behaviorist technique. It's like drilling or oral repetition to build the scaffold Once the students feel safe in that scaffold, their innate grammar takes over. So they started to climb and building their own.
Yeah, exactly. We can see this stepping process, teacher. Input hypothesis. He's a big believer of comprehensible input. So the input is the data from the environment, which is the behaviorism.
Yes.
But the acquisition is the subconscious biological process, which is our innatism. You can't have the acquisition without the input.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an irresponsible or inseparable loop.
True, agree. It's very frustrating sometimes, isn't it?
Yes, teacher.
So as a teacher, we want to control the acquisition part, but we can really only control the input part. It's like being a gardener. So we can provide the water, the soil, but we can't force the seed to grow.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy, teacher Ivy. And it gets even more complex with our adult learners today. From them, the critical period hypothesis, which states by Lenin Burns in 1967, suggests that the innate window is a bit harder to open. Adults often have to rely more on behaviorist strategies, conscious habit, building memorization, because that natural childhood sponges has faded.
So for an adult, the implication is still there.
Yeah.
But the behaviorism layer might be thicker.
Yeah, exactly.
So they need more structure to trigger that internal aha moment where the rules finally click.
Precisely. So, to wrap up our rumination, initiation gives the student the potential to speak, but behaviorism gives them the pattern to follow. If we use one, we're only giving them half a brain.
I love that, Teacher Warren. We aren't just teaching a subject. We're facilitating a biological and social partnership. Teacher Warren, it has been a great day today. I think we've officially imbricated our listener minds. Now let's go and see if we can find any go-ahead and heated examples in the cafeteria.
Let's do it. Thanks for having me here, Teacher Ivy.
Thank you, Teacher Warren, and thanks everyone for tuning in into the Language Lab.